You're listening to the Blacktop Banter podcast, the premier podcast in the asphalt industry, made for contractors with contractors.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Blacktop Banter. We're here for another episode. We have my friend Shawn Prince. Shawn Prince is VP of Business Development at Attentive AI. Attentive AI is a mapping software that delivers precise and accurate takeoffs and more to its users. Shawn spends quite a bit of time speaking at events and hosting webinars on how AI can help. How it can help you be the first and most accurate bid out as a contractor, how you can create efficient production planning and profitability, gain control with visibility into KPIs, and more. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, sit back and listen in as we get started into a conversation with Shawn Prince of Attentive AI. Shawn, it's good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, brother. How you been?
Good, man. Good. So it's been a minute, almost a year, I think, since we were able to meet and see each other in person. But I'm hoping that number comes, those time frame comes shorter as we're getting into the expo and the off season and whatnot. But, dude, you've been busy. Like every time I go on LinkedIn, I see an Attentive webinar. I see Shawn Prince on there. That's where you and I communicate quite a bit. I've been telling people lately, like, you can't sleep on LinkedIn. It is literally becoming the avenue for everything, it feels like.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, like when I think about social media, like I don't do Facebook. I'm not on Instagram that much, right? But like LinkedIn, I'm usually on all the time, whether it's personal or professional. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. And to be honest with you, like I kind of slept on it, right? Because it's not cool. Like, you know, it's not one of these like sexy avenues. It's not TikTok. It's not mixed up with a lot of stuff. It's strictly business most of the time. One thing that I'll say about it though is it's positive. Like it's all positive. It's which is crazy to me. Like there's hardly any negative posts or anything. And I think that's attractive to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like the other thing that I'm personally attracted to is when someone is positive and professional, but they still let like their personal life shine through in some way.
Yeah.
Like you can get some authenticity out of it. Like for me, like when I'm going through LinkedIn and scrolling it, that's usually what like picks my attention.
Yeah. Yeah. We get like, you get contractors, right, where they're sharing stuff. One of my friends, Chris Tammany, posted on LinkedIn the other day, and same thing. I don't think Chris isn't on any other social medias, I don't think, but they tore up a driveway that had a sink area, and he kept digging and he found a stump, right? It was cut down, and he was like, and I do my best like New England accent when I was like, what the hell, Marv, look underneath you, they put a stump underneath you, right? And I'm like, dude, you have to come on the podcast again. He's been on before. I'm like, you have to come on. But like that's where it's thing, like, you know, that genuine what they're about coming through is fun, mixed in with some information and education, which you get quite a bit of on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I always say like if you can just merge that channel as close to who you are in real life is your money, you're gonna succeed. It's you.
Yep, you're in the lane, man. Which brings me to like the major thing about our podcast, and is like the buzzword around business in general right now, and that's AI. And that is kind of our link. You and I first met at a conference last year where you were Attentive AI was sponsoring the event, and my interest as an asphalt geek and I'm not a media junkie. I think people think that they ask like, hey, what's the best camera? What's the best mic? Whatever. And I have to refer them to Chris because I'm like, I have no clue, dude. I made this stuff with my phone early on, and then somebody else was like, hey, do you want to look like a professional? And then took it from there. So I have no clue about it, but I'm a sci-fi junkie. I love 80s movies that talked about the stuff that we're doing now. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, now the stuff that is in movies now probably is coming in 20 years or so. I want to know about it right now while we're doing it. And that's where my interest peaks. So why are people so hesitant about AI? What do you think it is?
Yeah, I mean, good question. Like it's funny because like internally with my team, I always like talk about like, remember that movie Minority Report? And
Yeah.
remember the precogs? Like when is that coming? Like that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. And it always spurs like our AI conversation. But I think it's the unknown. Like, you know, I don't claim to know exactly why, but in my mind and from the conversations I have in the industry, it's like it's new technology. I think also too, like it's been marketed as it could be very dangerous, you know, so people are very hesitant about that. We don't have many regulations on it, so you don't see that area regulated at the current time that high. But I think a lot of it's the unknown. And if you're not familiar with technology in the first place, or you're not adept at it, like me, I'm not. I'm okay with it. I wouldn't say I'm fantastic at it, and I wouldn't say I'm terrible at it, but I'm just okay with it. But I think it's probably the unknown, and it's probably a lack of time to put in the hours it would take to basically understand it, and how it impacts the business. I think where people get tripped up a lot is you don't have to understand the tech side. That you just need to understand like the value prop that AI has for you and your business and where you're at. Because I mean, I spent 20 years in the exterior contracting side of our industry, right? Mostly on the
Yep.
landscape and snow side, but interacted with a lot of the paving teams as well, just being outside and working together as tradesmen. And so, like, I'm no expert at tech. I've been with Attentive AI for about a year and a half, and I've learned some things because we've got some crazy intelligent people on the team that are really good at what they do. But I do understand the value props, right? And you can understand how that can help and support you in your business, or
Right.
whatever your endeavor is.
Yeah, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Somebody told me one time, you don't walk into a room and look at the lights and not use it because you don't know how it works. You just turn the light switch on, right? You're like,
Yeah.
I don't need to know how it works. I just need it to do what I need it to do. And I think that because AI is new, right? People probably worry about that, and I have no clue about this, but I'm guessing people were scared to death of electricity being in their house, thinking they were going to get blown up right at some point and whatnot. Which maybe they did. I don't know. But I think about that in that regard because here's the thing I've came to terms with. If we don't use it, somebody else is going to use it, and if you're okay with being left behind, cool when in the terms of how that works, but I'm not cool with that. I'm still a contractor. I'm still in business. I still want to compete, and I want to be able to provide for myself and for the kids sitting in here as well. So we do our best to try to keep that atmosphere there and around them because we want to learn. I don't need to know everything about it, but I do need to know how to utilize it. The same way as if you're going to drive a paver or you're going to get a GPS, milling machine or whatever you're going to get. Seismic technology, has been get thrown around. I don't need to know it. I just need to know how to use it. And that's kind of what I think about with AI. And as I'm talking about with contractors, it solves some problems. So what are some of the problems that it can solve for contractors?
Yeah, great question. And just to your last point, Marvin, I would say, like, when you get a new piece of equipment, right? Like, and you don't know how to operate it, and you got to get the team trained up on it. What do? You rely on your partners that sold you that piece of equipment to help train
Correct.
you up or potentially get certified on it. And what are the safety issues that you need to look out for when you operate the piece of equipment? I think that the paving community, right, should look at it the same way when they're dealing with
Mm-hmm.
technology, whether it's AI related or not. Like, you have a partner that sold you
Mm-hmm.
something, and the support should be there post sale, right, to be able to lean on them and help you understand how to use it and how to use it correctly and efficiently. So I would just add to that point, I think you need to have partners, right, in the technology space that you're working with. I think it's important. As far as like how AI can be utilized in the industry, I think there's a lot of different facets, right, to that question.
Yeah.
Where we come in a lot is on the automated takeoff side, like the AI automated takeoffs for really impacting your estimates and your sales process. That's where
Yeah.
we impact. And I see us in a couple areas, right? Like, if you've got an organization, I always say like a cardinal sin is like having your sales professionals or your business developers out measuring properties. That's like, I've ran sales teams most of my life, and I don't want them spending time measuring sites. I want them having meaningful conversations
Yeah.
with their prospects. That's what I want to happen. And so
Yeah.
I think eliminating some of that wasted time from a sales professional's perspective, or if you have estimators that are doing it as well, or if you're an owner, right? Like, I think about what are the what are the high leverage or high value tasks that I could be doing if I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't doing this. And so I think giving you back time, right, is probably one of the biggest things. maybe the other
Yeah,
point I might mention is like inaccuracies and estimates as well. Like if you're doing anything manual, there's always the opportunity that it could be
for sure.
inaccurate. And
Yeah,
so
you can only
AI
measure
is,
in right angles so many times, right?
yeah,
Like we, let's say you're gonna do a roundabout, right? I did a course on that, or I did a YouTube video on that. I don't want to do that. I just want to click. I just want to click around the circle now and be like, okay, that's what it is. Cool.
well, it's funny you said that because like before I joined Attentive, I was at a facility management firm and we needed a solution because we weren't getting everything we needed done, and we weren't at a point in our life cycle of our company to hire an estimator to do it. And so
Yep.
when I bought this, I bought the software at Attentive
Yep.
to actually help us out, and it was the same thing. I was like, oh, we're just going to use this for big stuff, like, and then we'll continue to do it the old way. And then as I
Yeah.
did it, I started to realize like maybe I don't want to do this right now.
Yeah.
Maybe I just want to have AI do it.
Dude, I don't. We got measuring wheels in the back of our Suburban, and we keep them in our work trucks and stuff. And literally, I might have used mine 10 times this year. The most use it got was me having Eli get out and measure it up just so I could teach him if something happens, this is how you would measure it up, without this. It was like teaching your kid how to
Yeah.
hand drill a board. You're like, well, just in case something ever happens. And that's what I felt like. I was like, dude, I'm teaching this kid like something archaic, because nostalgic almost at this point, which is preposterous for me. But yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right about what it solves for contractors. I mean, Chat GPT gets the all the buzz, essentially because it can figure anything out in seconds or write something for you in no time. And to some people, that is fantastic. I do really well at writing, but for some of our guys, they're like, I don't know how to phrase this or put together. I'm like, well, put some prompts in or figure it out, and you'll get it there. When I've been messing around with Attentive, and we've used it on a few takeoffs and whatnot now, the crazy thing for me is that I put him in there, I click submit, go to the next one, hit submit, go to the next one, hit submit. I go back out in the field, quote, come back, and those ones are ready for me. And then I do it again, and it allows me to be more efficient, right? And if I'm more efficient, it ends up creating more time, whether it's going fishing with Eli, which we wish we did more of. Sorry, kid. But I have to figure out a way to have more time. And everybody is competing at such a crazy pace now that you have to figure out how to do that. And I think the relief for a lot of us in the LinkedIn world is that this allows for that. AI allows for that. And time is the only thing we can't make more of, essentially, right? So I think about that problem solving for contractors.
Yeah, no, I mean, what you said, like we're all like, this is just the start, right? In my opinion, this is the first domino that is going to fall, from an AI and technology perspective. And I think
Yeah.
about the industry, right? Like, and I think it's a great thing because it will help mature our industries at a faster rate and professionalize what we're doing. And I think, this is one of the first things that it's like the first domino that I mentioned, right? Like that's going to
Yeah.
fall. And I think technology will continue to help eliminate manual processes so that our teams can upskill and spend their time on those more important, what I would probably say are relationships over just tasks.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was kind of leading into my third topic and third question, right? What does the future look like with AI weaved into it? Because it's not leaving. If it makes anybody's life better, it's not leaving, right? I don't care what it is. It's not like HD DVD where Blu-ray was better. This is like, in some capacity for a lot of people, it's making their lives better, and anything that makes someone's lives better seems to never go away. So that's kind of my question, but I think that you answered it somewhat, because right now we're utilizing it for writing descriptions for us on social media posts or blog posts on our website or whatever. There's been a reaction to that though, where you can almost tell if it's AI, and then you wonder like, well, is what I'm reading what I should be reading, or am I not reading? But at the same time, there's completely different modules of AI like you guys have, where it's like you don't have to wonder. You clicked the things, and it sent it to you. It read the map. I did one for striping the other day on Attentive, and I just clicked the area, right? That was it. Sent it. When it came back, I had a detailed map showing the lines, right? Pop, 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 where the stalls were, where the curvatures were, what lines were where. And to me, I was like, well, I have no trouble believing that because I was there, first of all, right? And all I have to do is put it over the map, and I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. So there's different modules. How, like you said, this is the first domino. This is the way what it looks like. I'm incredibly proud of the Blacktop Banter Edition seal coating unit, produced in partnership with KM International and available in both 550 and 700 gallon versions. Custom built on the same frame as their bulletproof hot boxes, I work closely with KM to design what I believe is the best seal coating unit on the market, a unit designed by a contractor for contractors. Learn more about the unit and to see a walkthrough of the entire unit by visiting kminternational.com.
Hey, Jessica Lombardo with Pavex, the Pavement Experience, and I want to invite you all to join us in San Antonio for the first ever event. It will be held January 30th through February 1st at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center. We are going to have a live equipment demonstration over 2 days, 60 hours of educational programming, and a full trade show floor with over 75 manufacturers of equipment in the paving and pavement maintenance space. So please join us there, and to learn more and get yourself registered, visit www.pavexshow.com.
If you're serious about efficiency and performance, listen up. The Craftco SuperShot 125 is not just a melter, it's a strategic pavement maintenance advantage. Quick startups, fume-free, automatic agitator shutoff, a splash-proof lid, and pumping on demand, these features are essential for any serious asphalt maintenance contractor. So don't settle for mediocrity. Elevate your game with the Craftco SuperShot line of melters by visiting craftco.com today.
In my opinion, Dynapack CC900G roller is the best roller on the market for driveway and small parking lot paving contractors. The seismic technology in these rollers is unbeatable for the smoothness and compaction they provide, and I choose the Dynapack CC900G over the little yellow roller that you're used to seeing every single time. But don't just take my word for it. Check them out in person at Pavex and World of Asphalt, or visit Dynapack.com to find a dealer near you.
Hey, Blacktop Banter fans. This is Michael with Aquafault. Say goodbye to potholes and roadway damage without the need for large crews, heavy equipment, or toxic chemicals. Aquafault is the only permanent repair material for asphalt and concrete that uses water. And installation is simple. Just pour, add water, and tamp. It's that easy. An Aquafault repair can be open to traffic immediately and fully sealed within 24 hours. Plus, the product is backed by a 3-year warranty and made in the USA. Visit aquafault.com. That's AQUAPHALT.com to learn more.
In the past year, Jobber has been our CRM of choice at Wiscode, and it's made our world exponentially better efficiency-wise. The request to quote and quote to invoice process is seamless and professional. The scheduling aspect keeps us on point and the team leaders moving throughout the day from project to project, while the timesheet feature tracks the team members' hours. For our small seal coating company, it has helped build the solid foundation we can scale from. Jobber is now a sponsor of Blacktop Banter and helps bring this show to you. With this partnership, Jobber is offering an exclusive savings to BB listeners of 20% off for 6 months. To take advantage of this, find the Jobber link in the show description and get to improving your process today.
Hi contractors, it's Kyla from Wiscote. We use Stencil Plus for all of our pavement marking stencils. Alphabet letters, numbers, directional arrows, handicap markings, you name it. We use it and we get it all from Stencil Plus. Right now, for a limited time, you can save 10% on your stencil order by using code BB10 during checkout at stencilplus.com or by calling 877-372-6055.
Contractors, you need to make it easy for potential customers to reach you. Get a custom phone number from the 800 Pavement Network and plaster it on the side of your trucks and rigs, and I guarantee you'll see increases in leads and jobs booked. Get yours by calling 1-800-728-3636.
World of Asphalt is the leading asphalt trade show and conference, and it will be taking place on March 25th through the 27th, 2024 in Nashville, Tennessee. From mainline to maintenance, the show will be your one-stop shop to see everything the asphalt industry has to offer. Registration is now open, and listeners can save 20% off registration with the code BB20 when they register on worldofasphalt.com. What do you think, man, like when you see this, even in the takeoff world, even with the software side of it, because are we going to have AI sending information over and then that AI, like my AI here at Blacktop Banter, receiving it and reading it and then sending something back to me or to somewhere else? Like that's what I think. I think pretty soon, like in my mind, I'm like, dude, we're not gonna do anything. It's gonna be like Wall-E, the movie Wall-E, where like everybody's in just a thing and they got a screen in front of them and like they're just presented their life in front of them. Like that's what I think about, because if I can get AI to do something and go out, I can probably get AI to handle what's coming in. And do we have any grasp of that? Like companies that utilize AI, is that on the front? Because I listen to Joe Rogan, of course, right? That's the podcast world. And he had somebody from another company on there that uses AI, and it was so far in front of me and way out there that I was like, okay, I don't want to know the finish line. I want to know like the next leg of the race. That's kind of where I'm probably going to live too, I hope. So yeah. I wonder about that. Can you answer anything about that or anything like that? I know you're not the tech side, but you're my only in so far.
Yeah, and I've got a bunch of ends if I need to connect you, Marvin, with anybody.
Perfect.
But,
I can't wait.
I always say like I two things that when I think about AI that make me think about like what's the direction that it's going, right? Is I think about like AI as a partner to me, so I view AI as a partner. We interact, we help each other, we support each other, and it's somebody that it's something that I can put like the manual tasks and the manual things on to get done while I go spend my time elsewhere. So I view it as a partner.
Yeah.
Where it's heading and how it's heading, it's kind of like a good team, right? They move at the speed of trust, right? So when you have a good team operating together and they're moving quickly and they're nimble, they have a trust factor that's very high in that team.
Correct.
You've got to get that trust factor with the AI that you're using, and whether that's enabled through like Chat GPT or whether that's enabled via like a software like Attentive Auto Measure, whatever it may be that we're talking about, you've got to trust it. Like when I like first heard about AI and I met with Attentive and I spent some time with them, like understanding how it worked, I was like, yeah, right. Like, that was kind of my reaction, but let's test it and see how it goes, because I'm kind of sick of wheeling everything off and I need to do other things. And so that's what we did. We tested it and, we sent a couple properties through and I compared them to what I had hand measured myself out in the field. And they came back and they were very close to what I had done. And then, that trust built over time, over a couple months, to where it was like, okay, we've got
it's like a new hire. Yeah, it's like a new hire.
That's why I call it a partner.
Right? Yeah, no, that makes sense. And trust is important, right? And in any aspect of your avenue, that's for sure. Yeah. So I think about that in the regards of, no matter what, you have to believe at some point that it's going to do what it's going to do, because then that frees you up to just run with it. You don't want to micromanage your AI. Right, which just sounds preposterous if you actually know that AI probably isn't going to give you an answer if it doesn't know the damn answer, right? For the most part. So, what would you like people to know about Attentive AI that could be like? I don't want to necessarily do the elevator pitch, but just like, that they're a contractor. That they do manual takeoffs or that they do manual takeoffs or use a different software or something, or however. What would be the one thing where you're like, dude, Attentive AI can do this for you?
Yeah. I would like three things just popped in my head when you were talking about that, Marvin. I would say the first two, speed and accuracy, right? Like when you're in the asphalt contracting world and you're working with customers and you're working with RFPs, or just, you're working with an individual that you've just been a long time customer, speed and
Yeah.
accuracy is important with any relationship. And that's what I look to as like a good partner,
Yeah.
essentially. And I would say, like, on top of that, like, the support you get from Attentive is first class. It's essentially first class. Like, you can choose to buy a software package or buy anything, but
Yeah.
you need that relationship post sale. And
Yeah.
the support side of it, honestly, it did two things for me. It won me over to stay with Attentive as a customer, and then honestly, like, the vision of the customer being the hero and having that unbelievable support is what drew me over as a team member as well.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, man. I think that's the biggest hiccup, right? Those guys like that are like, that's how we've always done it, right? And then they're at the conferences or at these events wondering, trying to figure out how to get off their plateau or how to relieve the stagnation that they've encountered, right? And it's like, well, dude, we're out here being like, for just to kind of sound hip, I guess, in lack of better terms, we're being efficient AF because we know that all the guys that are my age and that are running businesses, they're pushing as hard, if not harder than me, right? And it's no secret, it's hard for us to find great employees right now. Like it's very hard. So if we can shortcut that with technology in order to gain an advantage, we're going to do that, right? So you don't even hear us really here, especially at BB or at companies that I know that do really well. They don't complain about employees because they figure out a way to make it work through software or technology to make them more efficient for less and less. Like it's happened here at BB, Shawn. Like when even in the last year, the build out to this point right here, we thought we would need 2 more additional people. We haven't needed that. We've adapted softwares, technologies that, like today, we were looking and I was looking over at Chris. I'm like, dude, we were talking about a major aspect of what we do: social media, content creation, scheduling, organizing, all that stuff. I'm like, Chris looked over, and was like, dude, we don't need anybody. We got this. Like, me and you have this. With your schedule, we have this, right? And then that's because we've tried technologies and we've tried to take things on. What general piece of advice would you give? You've had a wild run here with Attentive AI over the last year. I've seen you on like I said, on LinkedIn and a lot of events and whatnot. Drawing from your own experience, what would be a piece of advice that you would like to leave people with from your episode here today on Blacktop Banter?
Yeah, I would say, tech can be overwhelming, honestly. Like, I had some serious imposter syndrome, right, when I joined Attentive, because I'm working with all these unbelievably intelligent people, software engineers, right? And I did landscaping, right? That's where I came from.
Yeah,
And
these kids are
so,
20. Yeah, they're 19 or 20, the ones that are doing the
it's just
software
like,
stuff.
honestly, just two things, like unbelievably intelligent, but like so much wiser than I was, right, at 20 or 25, right? Like, it's unbelievable. And so anybody that says they don't have any hope, right, for the future with the young generation, you just are talking to the wrong people, right?
That's right. Good point.
But I would say, like, the biggest thing, like, if we're talking 30,000 feet up, right, and you're thinking about technology and you're thinking about doing something or making strategic moves inside your business for 2024, I would probably say find a partner, not a product, is probably what I would say, because you can buy this product, right, and it can have all the bells and whistles, but if you don't have the support for the implementation and the support to train your team up from your partner, that's not what I've seen it 100 times. I talked to somebody yesterday that was frustrated as could be because they didn't have a partner that could help them through the support side of it. And you're just left with a software that you spend a lot of money on that you're not realizing the value from. And that's not good from the customer's perspective, and it's not good from the company that sold you it either.
Yeah, Dang, that's a good piece of advice. Yeah, and I think that guys would realize that if they put that into perspective with software companies, the same way they do with equipment dealers or material suppliers or whatever. Like, I I, I probably am guilty of overpaying for some pieces of equipment or some materials, but also I know that if I need anything from who I'm overpaying to, they have my back. Like, whatever it is, they have my back. And you wouldn't buy a paver or a grader or a skid steer and be like, I can't figure it out, and just leave it sit right over in the corner. Like, you wouldn't do that. You'd be like, dude, you have to get somebody here so I can figure this out. I know Bob over at Bob's Excavating figured it out. And damn it, when I talk to Bob, I seem like I'm a lot smarter than him. Get somebody over here to help me figure this out and make that happen. So, totally good piece of advice. If people want to follow along with you, Shawn, where can they do that online?
Yeah, absolutely. I would probably give you two recommendations, Marvin. It's LinkedIn. You can follow Attentive AI there. You can follow myself, Shawn Prince, there. And then I would also probably say, look at our website, attentive.ai. You can hop in there. I think we've got a free trial as well set up, right? You can get a couple of free measurements to test it out and do kind of that testing that I mentioned to see if that trust builds as well. I'd probably say those two areas.
Yeah, the trials are where it's at. Like, that's, people always feel like they're getting suckered in with a trial, Shawn. They're like, yep, I'm going to sign up for it. I'm going to forget about it. And after 7 days or 14 days, I'm going to start seeing on my credit card. And here we are, right? But you wouldn't feel that way if you gave the trial a shot, right? No, if you actually went out and tried it.
Your credit card. You get the two free ones and see what it does for you.
Yeah, see what happens with it. I think that, like, people got to get over that a little bit too. And with software, this as well as I do, especially here at BB, we try everything out before we say, yep, yeah, that's going to work with us. Because there's times where we've thought so, and we get to a certain feature, and we're like, nah, that didn't cut it, right? And then we go back and do whatever. So I think trials is majorly important where it's at. And I'll be honest, I probably was a little bit hesitant on the Attentive AI trial until I tried it. And then I was like, okay, I'm probably going to need this now. Right? Like, it's because I was like, well, I put him in. I was like, well, I guess I'll go back and winterize some equipment or polish up the seal tank or go take a nap. Like, I'll take either one of those over sitting in front of my computer screen and doing this. So totally. Yeah, try that. Are you going to be at any events here coming up over the winter months?
Yeah, we were just at Ignite. I know that just got wrapped up, early.
Yeah, I've been meeting a lot of people around your team, dude. We're all around the country. Houston, Clearwater, attendants everywhere. I got to watch that AI, and they're everywhere. But where are we going to see you at?
Yeah, you're going to see me I'll be at Pavex coming up
cool.
next month, essentially. So I'll be there. And then I think we'll also be at World of Concrete and World of Asphalt coming up.
Oh, cool, man. Cool. Well, we'll have a booth at World of Asphalt. We have one at Pavex. More than likely, Pavex will be in the past when this comes out. But that's how I travel through time. Figured that out already. I mean, listen, man, my intelligence level is pretty high. I figured out how to travel through time already. It's through podcasting. Did that. And I already know I'm going to see you in the future at World of Asphalt. Like, podcasting does a lot, man.
You've got the sci-fi movies just living.
I do, right, dude. Now. I'm harboring the space-time continuum right here in the small office in Spring Green, Wisconsin. It's great. It's fantastic. Well, I really appreciate you being on, man. I really look forward to seeing you and the team here. And, we've worked together now. I really appreciate the partnership and whatnot with Attentive. And as you know, and you can vouch for me, I am very selective about who we partner with, what information we put out. It's very important to me that the community that we represent is respected, and I believe that our partnership does that. So I'm very excited for the guys to check the stuff out. As always, if you're curious about Blacktop Banter, you can go to blacktopbanter.com. On there, you can also find information about the Blacktop Banter Success Group, which is a group of contractors that are in a group. So essentially, it's a mastermind, and we do 3 calls a month. And the calls are myself, Kyle Lashone on the paving side, Cam Roberts on the striping side, and we do more calls if we feel the need to, if guys are lonely, which happens in the contractor world. And sometimes you end up with 5 Tuesdays a month, So we have to do, when I feel bad, I don't talk to God for a few weeks. So we do that. We do the 24/7 chat group, which we are all in and is available all the time. You have exclusive vendor discounts where you can get deals on software, equipment, supplies, all types of stuff by being a member of the Blacktop Banter Success Group. So go to blacktopbanter.com/BBSG to find information on that. If you go to that website, blacktopbanter.com, you're going to be prompted right away with joining and getting our newsletter. Inside that newsletter are articles written by contractors, with contractors, for contractors, and some words from people who support us and companies that support us as well. You can sign up right there at blacktopbanter.com. Please, for me, go check out missionimpact.com. Mission Impact provides fuel-efficient stoves, wheelchairs, clean water, women's ministries, a lot of different things in Guatemala. And I'm going back this summer. Very excited. Going to take my daughter there. They can use your support. Go to missionimpact.com to learn more about Mission Impact. And as always, you can find BB on social media at Blacktop Banter everywhere. Comment on stuff, DM on stuff. Tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I would love to hear that more and more and more. And as always, for myself and for Shawn Prince with Attentive AI, this is Blacktop Banter, where we speak asphalt. Peace. Hey everybody, Marvin here from Blacktop Banter. And if you enjoy the podcast and what we've been bringing to the industry, you can support us through a one-time or recurring donation at blacktopbanter.com. There we have a support tab. You click that and choose your path from there. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please do us a favor and leave a review there for us as well. As always, we speak asphalt, and thanks for your support. This episode of Blacktop Banter is brought to you by Crafco, the world's leading manufacturer of packaged pavement preservation materials and equipment for the asphalt industry. Learn more at crafco.com.